Oh, good evening and welcome to the show. It's Lights Thunder Action with the Beard Bros. Welcome to Lights Thunder Action. We'll be on in a moment. Share the stream, please. Yeah, we got there. We'll be on in just a moment. Welcome to
LTA with
TCR
and JRB.
This is where the fun begins.
You're just not thinking fourth dimensional.
Flores!
Peter 03.
Num num.
I'm vengeance.
What?
Did we just become best friends?
Yup!
I love you guys.
Hold on to your butts.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
Dude, I almost had you.
To that I say, all right.
Good evening. It is June 6th, the 78th anniversary of Z-Day, and it is time for your Monday night pick-me-up, where two Thunder buddies dive into all things Marvel, DC, pop culture, IP, and the latest happenings in the film industry.
Yes, on today's show, Thomas and I are going to be talking all about The Boys. Season 3 has kicked off. Episodes 1 through 3 are available, and we are basking in all its glory. So that's going to be our main focus tonight. We're also going to touch on a few other news topics, such as Amber Heard losing her case against Johnny Depp after being sued.
Heard?
How that affects Heard, and how that affects her Aquaman 2 life and her overall acting career. But yeah, we have a few other interesting topics to talk about. But before we get into all that, Thomas, where can everybody find our show?
We are live beaming directly into your homes and phones via our Lights Thunder Action Facebook and the HWWS WebTV channel on Twitter and YouTube. All of those links can be found at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow to view the live version of our show where you can interact with us here in the comments. But if you don't want to look at our beautiful bearded faces, but you would love to hear our beautiful bearded voices,
then you can find said voices on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Spotify. Please follow and subscribe on those platforms while you're listening to us. Leave a 5-star review and ask a question so you can follow along in our conversation week to week, and we'll answer that question right here on the show to keep up with you. But with that down, Thomas, it's been a long week, man. How are you?
it has been a long week. What's it been? 7 days?
7 whole days.
7 days to live. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Humans and droids, I have no idea what just happened in the last week. We're in June now, so there's that.
We're in June, and it is busy June it will be.
Yes, Kenobi episode 3, glorious. Stranger Things also, I haven't watched an episode since last weekend, so I'll get there. I'm seeing spoilers on Twitter. Quit that out, man. Like, I know that I should have binged it, but I got things to do, man. I got bills to pay and gigs to find. But I had a great weekend. It was very busy, very worky. Had an audition on Saturday. First in-person audition in 2, maybe 3 years. I believe November 19 was my last one. And so this is now June 22? Yeah. So we're pushing 3 years since my last in-person audition. A lot of fun. I will say it's easier when all of your friends are in the room, like when all the people in the room are also your friends outside of work. That makes life a lot easier to just fall in and do the audition. But I had a lot of fun, helped a friend out, guiding them through their first in-person audition, I do believe. So I was trying to give what tidbits I could, which I don't know if it helped. I hope so, but we'll see. And then yesterday I went and saw The Northman. Jesus Christ, dude, what a film. Oh, I also saw Maverick last week.
I was going to ask you. I saw Top Gun Maverick the last time we talked on Memorial Day, but we were talking to Ethan Simi, 15 Minutes of Marvel, a good friend of the show, about The Boys coming out. And so we got no time to talk about Top Gun Maverick. First of all,
mini Maverick review.
Mini review. This is going to be one of our only topics we talk about tonight before we get into the news and then The Boys. What was your, first of all, out of 10, what was your overall like theater experience? Like for compared to like the other movies you've seen the past couple of years, when you saw Top Gun Maverick, how did it compare?
As an experience,
that was a super loaded question.
No, that's okay though, because as an experience, it doesn't live up. And to be fair, that's kind of a local thing. It's very quiet in our theaters here. Okay. I will say this: Endgame is the only time in a theater in this town have I ever had an entire crowd erupt. When I saw some Spider-Man viewings for like the first time here locally, they're like, "Oh my God, I haven't seen this." And there's a lot of people who hadn't seen it. No one did anything. I'm like, I can hear everything happening in this movie. It's amazing. But the movie, not a bad problem at all. Yeah. Especially on like the second or third viewing after lots of yelling, makes it easier. I will say one of the better movies that I've seen in theaters, like it's a top 10. It's definitely a top 10 theater, like a film, the film itself, the movie, the cinematic experience of what they put on the screen, top 10.
It's meant for cinema. Yep.
Dude. Oh, I didn't even see it in IMAX, and now I'm like, do I go see this in IMAX?
Same.
Like, I'm thinking.
I feel like I left something on the table there. I have to it was such an experience. It has every element that a movie needs to have. It had the thrill, but it also had the love story, and nothing felt like it was stepping on the toes of another element in the movie. It had a lot of action and a lot of heart, but it still had its deeper moments where it really made you like pulled at your heartstrings. And it was overall like a really fun ride. It's crazy that they were able to
did it have some heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real fast, rate Tom Cruise's Shades 1 out of 10. This comes from our friend Beth Ann from She Will Rock You Pod.
That's awesome.
It's important. What do you rate it?
I mean, I'm an aviators guy. I only wear aviators, so I'll put it right at a 10 out of 10, man.
Wow.
He was rocking them, and I was all about it.
I'd be an aviator guy if they fit my face, but they don't. I'm going to be honest. I'm not an aviator guy, so I'm like, I mean, they look nice on him, so minimum is a 5. The maximum is also a 5. So
wow. Okay. I thought maybe the Tom Cruise factor would bump it up to like at least a 7.5, but
I'm sorry, Tom Cruise.
Hearing Tom Cruise and 5 out of 10 in the same sentence just doesn't feel right.
Are you ready for this? Miles Teller's glasses, 10 out of 10. They're just square enough.
Okay, now I'm going to agree with Beth Ann's next comment that only says harsh. That is rough that you're choosing Miles Teller's look over Tom Cruise. Do you realize that this movie was an ode to Tom Cruise's career? There was not. Yeah. He was the Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat in this movie because he played in every single second of this movie. There was not a scene that didn't have him in it. It was crazy. Tom Cruise carried this movie on his back the entire way, stunts and all. It was very, very impressive.
Oh my God, you're right. He's in every scene.
The camera follows him.
Because I'm like, oh, okay. Like, no, that scene. Oh, wait a minute. He was also there. Oh, but that's it. Oh, he was also there. Oh, but that, and he's there too. Oh my God.
It may have cut away from him for a second, but they don't leave that scene unless the camera's on him again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
I mean,
intriguing.
Paramount loves their Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise also loves Tom Cruise.
Yeah. One thing that I did note, ever since I found out Downey Jr. was 5'8" and Paltrow was 5'10", I look at movies when I know the actor is really short to figure out the height of the other actors around him based on camera angles and how they. I'm not good at it. Yeah,
it is fun to watch though, because it's funny. He'll have one scene with Miles Teller where he's looking up at him, and the next scene they're looking eye to eye. It's like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
But no, I'm exaggerating. But it is funny to remember how short Tom Cruise is, because that might be one of his only. It's not even like it's an imperfection. It's just like he's not 6 feet tall. Like it's not like it's any sort of detriment to him. It's just like the character that he plays sometimes.
Dunk a basketball, maybe.
I don't think he's missing out.
He could run. He could run up and down the court and play basketball.
The montage where he was training and it showed him sprinting on the treadmill, and then it showed him later in the movie sprinting in the snow with all of his gear on. I'm like, how is this guy pulling this off? He's in his 50s, jumping out of an airplane and doing all this crazy stuff. I loved watching him do all of his own stunts. Watching him, I hate when people say it doesn't make a difference, because it does. Because you watch that scene and you tell yourself that's still Tom Cruise doing this right now. Like I am totally immersed in this. I'm totally loving what they're doing with this, and I'm not at all taken out of it. Like the part where he was coming off the aircraft carrier and the plane shoots up and you can see him kind of move around and like grab the window and like look around. Like it's cool to see like his real reaction to it, you know?
Yes.
It's very immersive.
I'm trying to think, so Star Wars, right? I was trying to think of something that was not, aviation related. Is this aviation adjacent is what I was looking for. Star Wars, you watch how they film scenes inside the cockpit and it's like, okay, yeah. And then you watch like other war movies and then it's like, oh, they're not really like anywhere. Like it's not, oh, they're in space. It's they're on a green screen. Right. Star Wars has gotten away with it for years inside of the cockpits, of course. We're not going to talk about the prequels and some of their backdrops. And the key framing that unfortunately was not perfected at that time. But I think it was I'm thinking of maybe Red Tails. It might be where they're in a plane, but you can tell they are not outside. They're in a green screen, like they're against a green screen. It's really annoying. This movie, when they did one thing and I go, oh my God, he's in that. Like that's real. Those are real G's. You can see like the way that the ground moves away is at a frame rate that you don't normally see. And that's what tuned me in to go, oh man, this is live. They're doing this live. And then I'm like, it's Tom Cruise. What am I saying? Of course they're doing it live. The dude hung off of a C-130 or whatever for however many days just to film that one scene.
MF5 or 6. Yeah.
One of the Mission Impossible.
Took off and he's just hanging onto the wing. That's
the best thing about Mission Impossible is that behind the scenes, they're just trying to figure out what the next Mission Impossible stunt is. Like, is this stunt impossible or is it Mission Impossible?
Exactly. That's their mission, is finding how far they can go. In this upcoming movie, we saw the new trailer for it. He's driving a bike right off a cliff and just full send right off a cliff. And I was listening. I don't remember what show I was listening to, but they had talked to the director about it at CinemaCon, I believe. And they filmed that stunt like a dozen times to get it right. And he would parachute down and then take a helicopter ride back up and they would shoot it again.
Isn't that
nuts?
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Imagine that being your workday, like that's the level he's ascended to.
I'm already there.
In my mind.
In my
yeah, man, Top Gun. Dude. Okay, so I don't know how recently you saw the original Top Gun.
Oh, I will tell you, it's been about 23 and a half years.
Okay. All right. So
very specific. I know.
Full disclosure, I had never seen the first Top Gun movie. I know. I somehow, and my dad's a huge aviation junkie. Like he went to school for like aerospace engineering and like all this crazy stuff. And somehow I grew up never seeing this movie. And so I went into Top Gun Maverick without having seen the first one, but knowing the basic premise. And I was like, oh, I like this vibe. This is pretty cool. It's kind of old school. I would go back and turn the first one on. I didn't realize how closely they were going to match the vibe of the first movie. It's like they just picked, they did not try hard at all to modernize it. They're like, no, we're sticking with what we know. This is very on brand for us. And, clearly it worked because it brought a whole new audience back to the theaters. When I went to see it, my fiance and I were the only ones under 30 years old in there. Like it was nuts. Sorry, 40. But
I'm good for 10.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean is like I was seeing people closer to my parents' age going to see this movie, and that's not a crowd I've seen at the recent Marvel movies, at other indie films like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, it's always been a much younger crowd, but this was a crowd that was familiar with the brand and the IP, and they returned for that. So it was really cool to see that in theaters again because that isn't something I usually see.
I loved this movie. I enjoyed the heart. I went in knowing they're like, this is the review I heard from someone who's very critical about a lot of things. He's like, I've gone to the Top Gun twice. And they're like, what? You double dipped? And he's like, in 2 days, I went back to see it in. He's like, I went back because it was just so good. And he's like, let me be real. And it's Mark Bernardin that gave this review. That's what sold me on this movie. Because I was like, yeah, I'll see it. But he is critical of everything. He's a writer in the industry. So he says, let me be real clear. My only negative isn't even a negative. He's like, yeah, there's plot holes all throughout. There's certain things. He's like, but at the end of the day, my only real negative is this plot is the exact same. You got to go back to Top Gun. You got to train for this mission. You got to do the mission. Someone's going to die. Will we survive? And he's like, but along that way, those same beats, he's like, there's a sport thing. There's another jet scene. There's a bike chase. There's Tom Cruise running. It's all the things you expect out of Top Gun, but it's done in a way that you just don't care and you love it. And you're here for the half nostalgia, half, it's like, oh, this new breed, Glenn Powell crushes. I heard someone say it's his breakout role and they'd never seen him before. And I almost went on a mini rant because I was like, come on, you've never seen Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell?
He's gorgeous. How can you not remember that nose?
Wait, so
Hangman.
No, I know who Glenn Powell is. I'm shocked that. No, I think the first thing I saw Glenn Powell in, and I didn't know this until after I saw the movie. I think he was in Dark Knight Rises, the third Christopher Nolan Batman movie. I can't remember who he played, but I think that's the first time I heard that name. But I'll be honest, I don't remember seeing him in at least the past 3 or 4 years.
Really?
What else has he been in? There were a lot of cast members in this movie where like you had that familiarity with them, but you were like, was the last time I saw that? Like I gotta say, when we saw Val Kilmer, knowing how real his medical issues are, and still finding a way to work him into this movie was really cool because now knowing the backstory of his relationship with Iceman. And him being the one in the background, kind of pulling all the strings to keep
Maverick.
To keep Maverick going was like a really cool way to spin things. Because at first I was like, oh, they didn't actually get him for the movie. Why is he only texting? And then he shows up, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like this, all of a sudden they added so much more weight to that relationship, So yeah, but anyway, all the supporting cast in this movie was so good. Yes. Where have you seen Glenn Powell? I know you're looking for.
All right, so he's traitor number 1 in the Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, so it was just
he was just there.
Basically.
He was just there.
Okay, that's the one I remember. Then
I know that is very crazy because he's in the Expendables 3 as Thorn. That's where so I saw him in 12. I saw him in 14. He's in Ride Along 2. I don't know if I saw that one. I know I saw Ride Along 1. He's in Everybody Wants Some and in Hidden Figures. And those are the ones I've seen him in. He was also in Scream Queens, which I did not watch. Sandcastle. He's oh my god, he's Trent in all Hail King Julian things. Let's see, where else are we at? Yeah, those are those things that he's been in. Let's talk about Miles Teller real fast and how this could be his like coming back as like a mainstream actor. He was there.
Wow.
He was there, and then there's some stuff that came out, which is like,
you can name it. It's Fantastic Four. It's Fantastic.
No. Well, there's that. Like that movie happened, but there was also like talks about his behavior, like on set and his working.
Oh,
like, and
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I heard some rumors, so I'm like, oh man, like maybe he's not gonna be. But everybody gets a second chance in Hollywood, especially if you're damn talented and you know he crushes in this movie.
He was great. He wasn't my favorite, but he was great.
Ooh, okay. He was definitely my favorite. But,
oh wow, okay.
I know.
I like
I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised by that.
New age stuff. That's good.
Yeah,
I like Maverick, and you
so
like
Maverick.
Rooster. Yeah.
There
There we
we go.
go.
Dad.
The passing of the torch.
I love how the
stuff.
old guy's here for the young guy, and the young guy's here for the old guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little backwards, but that's how we do it here.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, we've spent about 15 minutes on Top Gun, and we didn't even plan on talking about it.
We Mavericked real hard. What is your how would you rank Maverick out of 10?
Out of 10. So as a movie, I put it right at a 9. I don't think it's missing much. I think what mentioned earlier, the first one had that tragic death and had that real weight to it. Even with everything going on in this movie, everyone ended up okay. And I'm great with that. I didn't want anyone to get hurt, but at the same time, they all walked away more or less unscathed from this. And they had an instructor basically baby them all the way through it. So that's the only issue I have with the story, is that did it really make them into the better pilots they're supposed to be, or were they just never ready, and that's why Maverick had to step in and basically walk them through it. So only because they were getting at the point of, oh, these Top Gun pilots are getting to the best of the best and they need this guy to get them there. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't necessarily get them all the way there, but he did uncover Rooster's potential. So that's the only takeaway I have that was negative from this movie. So I put it right at a 9 out of 10. The experience was awesome. It was 100% what I'll always think of when I think of like the ideal movie theater experience, because that was cinema, and that's what a movie should be, especially a summertime movie, Memorial Day weekend, the perfect holiday film to go see on a hot summer day. 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay. I go 8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
Right around me. Right around me.
It is because of the things you said. It really, my biggest issue while watching is like, oh, they're just giving Maverick the stick. I don't really like that. I really don't like that at all.
Exactly. They just kind of were like, Maverick, I guess it's up to you.
There's no growth for him at the end of the day.
I thought they had it on the right track when he went through the training simulator to show it was possible.
Yeah.
But then that's when Rooster should have taken that and been like, okay, this can be done. I'm going to do it and do it slightly better to show that the new age of pilots can surpass these older guys. You know, they still left it as Maverick being the top guy, and not that he would be handing things off to Rooster.
Literally, now he's an ace. He's an ace pilot. He's got 5 confirmed kills. I think he's the last ace pilot since like the 60s.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. Maybe the 70s, but I don't know how much dogfighting happened in Nam.
Oh, speaking of dogfighting, I have 2 problems with this movie. The first one is the plot point that I brought up earlier. The second one is dogfight football. You can't play offense and defense at the same time. It's not possible.
It is totally possible. You have designated. Yes, let me tell you how to do it real fast. 7-on-7. All right. You usually have 3 on offense, or you'll have 4 on offense, quarterback, right? And then you have 3 on defense, 3 covering 3.
Okay.
So you've got 6 people on your team.
So the quarterback has no pressure.
Defense. Yeah. They didn't did you see what they were doing?
You have 2 quarterbacks
playing.
You have 3 receivers on each side, and those 3 receivers all have to get open while also being defended by someone who's also trying to get open. Why wouldn't everyone just
no
sprint to being open, and the first one to score wins?
No. What? Okay, so your team
This
is
has turned into a sports analytics podcast.
Welcome to coaching, Thor coaching. So you've got your offense. All right, they only care about offense. Then your defense only cares about defense. They cover the receivers, right? And then that is how you sneak in wrinkles of he's gonna cover. Oh no, he broke free. Oh God, touchdown.
Okay, so it's really a receiver's game then. The quarterback just
It
has to put the ball in the right spot.
Exactly. The quarterback is there to deliver the package.
That's dumb.
And it's all
run the damn ball.
Well, they do. I think they do a little bit. They definitely there's some good hits.
They were running the ball, yeah. The idea is dumb. I hate it. I didn't like that they had to have the same exact sports scene that was in the first one.
Wait, it's not. They played volleyball in the first.
No. I mean that's the same idea. Like it felt. I get the camaraderie of it, but it was what you were saying about it being kind of a carbon copy of the first movie. That is where I felt that. That's the only scene where I felt that.
Was it weird? That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
It's also the scene where they're wearing the least amount of clothing, so I'm not surprised.
Very, very true. A lot of muscle going on in there. Lady muscle, dude muscle. Also, you say the word football, it's going to be my favorite scene in any movie.
Love it. All right. Well,
I 8.5 out of 10. That's been our Maverick minute, I guess.
Maverick 20 minutes.
Minutes.
Leave your answer in the comments here. What do you rank it out of 10? Let us know. And if you think we're outrageous for thinking this is an amazing movie, okay.
Kill us on the internet. Also, if you're listening in audio form, just tweet at us at LTA Podcasting. That's an action verb, ing at the end. Now we're gonna jump to everyone's favorite segment. What, the news?
Amazing.
I forgot what that sounded like. It's been so long.
It has been a minute. I think above all else, I think we need to talk about this Amber Heard case.
It's done. Let's start with the herd.
Love it.
Heard. Heard is the word. I said a heard. Said the herd is the word. I had heard.
We might be the last ones getting to this, but the Amber Heard trial's over and she lost. Johnny Depp successfully sued her for some money. She did get about $2 million back in damages, just to pay for her legal fees and whatnot, but she lost about 15. So what does that come out to? Yeah, 15 million. Yeah, so she's at about minus 13 million coming out of this. So, but since that happened, now there's actual rumblings of her career being in jeopardy. So most people know her currently from being Mera in the Aquaman franchise. She's shown up in a few movies now. She was in Justice League and also Snyder Cut version. And then she was also in Aquaman. And she's scheduled to be in Aquaman 2, and they already finished filming that. Yes. But since this trial ended and she lost, now there's rumors that she might not actually make it into the final cut of that movie, which I think is pretty insane. But coming from our family at the Direct, they're saying that Casey Walsh is saying that Amber Heard's scenes as Mera are set to be deleted from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom following a meeting between Warner Bros. Higher-ups. The rumors suggest that Mera may die during childbirth at the start of the sequel.
Okay.
But its upcoming test screening will be telling. And it goes on to say that she admitted during the trial against Johnny Depp that her role in Aquaman 2 had already been cut, which we've already talked about, after being a leading star in the first film. So she already felt like her scenes were cut down. Personally, I feel like she probably doesn't know how a movie is made if some scenes don't make it into the final cut of a movie. But maybe they were trimming her role down. I don't know. But now there's rumblings that she's going to be cut out altogether. Thomas, Amber Heard has been found guilty and owes Johnny Depp a ton of money. And a lot of people are saying that she's going to go bankrupt because of this. Now we're hearing she's not going to be in Aquaman 2 either, so she's not going to make any money from that. What are you taking away from this?
I kind of don't give a shit. when it comes to the world of BTS on DC, my gosh, do they have some drama over there in Warnerville and DC land. So you know,
problems.
The Ray Fisher of it all. No, they don't. The Ray Fisher of it all. You know, I was all in on that. I was wanting to talk about that and report on that. Then the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp stuff started coming out, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I went and did like a deep research, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, well, I kind of hate both of them now.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't
couldn't
pick a side in this, you know?
I didn't quote unquote pick a side until I saw some of the stuff that Heard was trying to do, like in court and saying things in public. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's fishy.
Yeah.
I get it because it's Aquaman. Cool. I will say, on top of all that, if she gets cut out, whatever. If she gets cut out because she dies in childbirth, sad. What they should do is have Wonder Woman kill her, do Flashpoint right, and just let her never come back.
I'd be okay with that. I think I'd be okay with seeing them rewrite it into like just a brutal death. Just like maybe chomped in half by a shark or something, you know, like something wild.
The Megalodon.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I feel like she's caused enough problems, and I if anything, I think that would boost the movie's numbers, because I think a lot of people are on the same wavelength as us, where we're fed up with seeing Amber Heard's face and seeing her lie through her teeth about what's been going on. If you would have asked me a month ago about this, I would have said I couldn't care any less. But now it's been force fed to us for so many weeks on end that I do care about it. I want Amber Heard to not benefit any further from this career that she's built up. But that's just me, because she seems very manipulative and very crazy. But in terms of like her actual like acting ability, I never really had a problem with her in the Aquaman movies, but I also can hardly remember her. I've only seen Aquaman once, so it could be just that.
Yeah, she's kind of in there a lot.
Yeah, and I remember she was a recurring character, but like it wasn't really anything impactful enough for me to think, oh, I really hope she's in the next one, you know? Like if she wasn't in the next one, I would have just felt like, okay, well, that was a character from the first movie, and now she's not relevant to the story they're trying to tell. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Did Mara leave any different of an impression on you when you've seen her?
She's attractive.
Okay,
that's about it, honestly.
Well,
I like
plenty of that out there, so I think we might be able to get by.
Very true. Yeah, man, there's so many pretty people on this planet. You know what I'm saying? There's one over there. There's one not. I was gonna like point at myself, but like, let's be honest, I'm not pretty. I'm a little bit hairy, rugged. I'm like a hairless baby Wookiee is what I am.
Hairless baby Wookiee. He
Yeah,
says with that full beard and luscious locks.
Well, you should, the rest of the body's pretty. I don't have as much hair on the rest. It's all here on the skull, if I'm being honest. Right. And the armpits. It's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going on a very weird sidetrack here. But yeah, Amber Heard. The other part of this that doesn't make sense is that it's going to cost a lot of money to take her out of this movie. They already finished filming. If they cut her out entirely, I have to imagine she played at least a partially crucial role in this story to bring her back. To say she's going to die during childbirth is interesting, to say the least, but that would mean I mean, they could say it happened off screen. That would just feel weird, though.
Oh my God, that'd be perfect.
You think so?
All of this other shit happened off screen. Why shouldn't that death?
All of this other shit happened in real life.
And
what?
That's real life there. It's just art imitating reality.
See, the issue is this movie, and this is an issue that DC has altogether right now, is that after the Discovery takeover, there's a lot of stuff that the new parent company doesn't want to make, so they're just canceling it left and right. Aquaman is one of those projects where, even though I don't necessarily think they would want to change it all that much, because I think the first one was pretty successful, Aquaman is one of the ones where it's already done. You know, they got to work with what they've got here, and since it's so far along in the process, you can't not release that movie. And so, but to take Amber Heard out of it would cost a lot of money. But you can't recast her unless you go back for even more reshoots. And I don't think they want to reshoot an entire character's role in this movie. I don't know. I think they'd be taking somewhat of a loss if they try to remove her from this. It would be a lot of unnecessary work for something that I don't think really matters for the Aquaman story. I say just let her do what she's got to do in this movie, and then we can just move on from there. Write her out after that. What do you think?
I think if they want to do it now, cut the head off now. I have heard that she was only in the first act of the movie anyway. Like I've read that before all this stuff happened, she already had a small role because that wasn't the story they were trying to tell. Okay. Also, rumor has it that she has terrible chemistry with Jason Momoa.
Oh, that's not a rumor. Just watch the first movie.
They had okay chemistry when they were joking, and that was it. Honestly, when they were like being comedic, that was their best time.
I do remember laughing. That was one thing that the movie got right was the comedy. Like not specifically with Jason Momoa, some of the lines he landed were pretty flat, but like when he could banter with someone, that I think they really shined there. But I did not believe for a second that they were actually like an item. You know, that
it was
the fact
weird.
that I never felt like she was pulling him into the conflict that he was in, you know?
Same. So when they announced that she's supposed to be having this kid, I was like, wait, what?
Right.
They're like, did they even kiss in the first movie?
Right. I think they did right at the end. It was, I think it was right after he finally defeated,
Dormammu.
No.
Orm.
Thank you. Orm. Yes. As soon as he defeated Orm, I think it was when they were standing on top of that, whatever they were standing on when they got back above water. But yeah, I personally, I don't really care about Amber Heard. If you guys do, let us know. Are you going to miss Amber Heard? Leave a comment and let us know. If you're listening on the audio side, put it in your 5-star review.
Absolutely. Before JRB, before we hop off this Heard train, let me try and pitch this real quick.
Okay.
They want to cut her out. All right. They've already shot a bunch of stuff. Maybe they just delete the 3 lines that reference her, and maybe along the way they just don't care about losing that money because it might be less money than they lose if they put her in a box office.
That's true, because there is a group of people who are at least saying they're not going to see this movie if she's in it.
Dear God, dude, I have so many friends in this area who hate Amber Heard to the point that they literally have burned movies that have her in it.
Wow.
The Heard hate is real. I've seen lots of it.
Oh, tell us more, Florida man.
To be fair, also, nobody likes a liar. A. B. Nobody likes a liar about abuse. C. Nobody likes an abuser lying about being abused.
Yeah,
so
that's the big one.
Those 3 together pissed off a lot of ladies.
Hypocrite.
Hate it, man.
Okay, Wanda. I see. Yeah. So, I want to bring this Baby Groot shtick real quick because I know you have nothing to say. I'm all in on I Am Groot simply because it's going to be shorts, right? That's exciting. I don't have to sit through 30 minutes.
So for
Groot.
For those not following, there's a Disney Plus series, a mini series that's going to drop in August called I Am Groot. And it's just going to be little animated shorts, or at least it was originally reported it was animated. I don't really know.
It's animated.
It's going to be like half a dozen short clips of Groot just kind of living life, apparently. But the interesting part is it's at least produced or written by James Gunn. So he's directly involved. We got a poster and a release date for it this past week. Thomas, do you want to pull up that poster? You want me to find it?
Yes, I'm getting it right now. It premieres, you said August 10th, yes?
I believe it's August 10th, which was also
August
puzzling
10th.
because that's terribly close to She-Hulk, which I thought was a bit confusing. But I don't know if these are These are these all going to drop at once? Are they just going to, since they're just shorts, is it going to be like Star Wars Visions where we get all of it at once?
That's exactly what I'm assuming. I can't lie. I shouldn't assume, but fuck it, we're here.
I can't imagine they're going to be releasing a 15-minute short each week. That doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe one a day. So Apple TV Plus is doing Prehistoric Planet, and it's out. All of it's out now. It was a 5 or 6 part series, but they were dropping a new episode every day.
Wow.
So
that's
maybe
cool.
they'll do that with Groot, where it's like Groot Week or something, where we'll get like a new Groot show like each weekday.
Groot
you know,
week.
I don't know what day of the week is August 10th. Is that a Wednesday?
I do believe so, because a week later
Wednesday.
is the 17th, and 3 weeks later is the 31st. That would be the 17th. So we get Groot, then we get She-Hulk, then we get Andor.
Oh, that's right. She-Hulk and Andor are going to overlap.
Not only overlap, the first time Star Wars and Marvel actually, you know what? Celebration happened. We haven't talked about Star Wars. Andor's coming out August 31st. So that is the very first time Star Wars and Marvel have premiered shows in the same month on Disney Plus.
Oh, I
so
didn't know that.
Kenobi and Miss Marvel are running together, but they didn't premiere in the same month, technically.
What about Hawkeye and Book of Boba Fett? Were those November, December?
Yes, November, December. It was the end of November, beginning of December, and then end of December.
Oh, wow. I never realized that. That's crazy. I've been curious how they're going to handle that, because we have Miss Marvel coming up, and Kenobi's still going to be running for a couple more weeks.
On the same damn day.
Yeah, on the same day. And I thought they were moving Kenobi to Fridays to avoid that, and they only did it for the premiere. So I'm not sure what their plan is, because one of those is going to take up the social media sphere and dominate it over the other. And I feel like it's going to be Kenobi.
Well, to be fair, they're technically being targeted at different audiences too.
That's
Star
true.
Wars.
Well, I mean, could you say that though?
I can, because Star Wars is going after Star Wars fans, or fans that grew up with the prequels, or fans that love Vader. They're only going after the Star Wars fans right now. Sure, they're trying to bring in other people, because everyone loves Ewan McGregor as Kenobi. Miss Marvel, though, directly pitched to kids, directly about diversity. So it's going into diverse, where Star Wars is diverse, but they're not trying to make it extra diverse by pitching to a specific targeting audience, right? They're still doing Star Wars. They're being diverse in the universe, but I mean, they're going to be targeting Miss Marvel, and they have been specifically outside the universe in our reality.
Yes,
towards diversity.
Totally, yes. Obi-Wan Kenobi matches old Star Wars, especially the prequels, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And Miss Marvel, I know we already talked about this. I have had the opportunity to see the first episode of Miss Marvel, and I'm freaking geeking over it. I can't wait to talk about it. But Miss Marvel definitely has a tone that's more geared towards the younger fans. And even though I think Kenobi has also been doing that, because it feels very, I don't want to use the word childish, because that's not what I mean, but it does feel very, I don't know. It feels like a 10-year-old could watch it and follow along and enjoy it. Whereas I think Miss Marvel can be the exact same thing as that. So for their newer audience, for their newer subscribers, I think that's where you're going to see that divide. But yeah, you're right. The older, like hardcore, longtime Star Wars fans are the ones that are tuning into Kenobi every week. Whereas Miss Marvel is totally almost a test for Marvel to see what audience they can reach next.
Yeah, in a way. And again, it's more of, trying to get this new character over with the fans. And it's honestly crazy.
Here we are talking about I Am Groot, and somehow it led to Kenobi versus Miss Marvel. But yeah, I Am Groot.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Great.
I don't know what to think about it. It's not till August, so it's still a couple months away. James Gunn's been tweeting about it pretty consistently, saying he's excited about it, and he even made a comment, I think it was yesterday, saying that it might not even be canon to the MCU.
He said they are special shorts and not canon to the Guardian saga, They're canon to themselves.
He was tricky with the way he worded it, because he would only acknowledge that they were canon, that this show is canon to itself. And I'm like, what does that even mean? What are you talking about? So what if it's like some sort of simulation or some sort of, oh my God, what if it's, no, that wouldn't make sense. But I was going to say, what if it's somehow like the game that Groot was playing in Infinity War that he wouldn't put down?
That'd be cool.
Like it's in a choose your own adventure type thing for Groot, you know?
Let's look at this poster for our visual audience.
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah, he's just sitting there chillaxing, listening to music. You know what I'm saying? You know what's great? Actually, like 5 days before this, we get a Lego Star Wars summer vacation special that has like this same exact vibe of a poster.
You know what I found most interesting about this?
He's drinking.
He's drinking. Yeah. No, he's leaning up against Star-Lord's Walkman. So this is going to be pre-Guardians 2, because that was the Walkman was destroyed in Guardians 2.
All I know,
he has the Zune now.
All I know is that it's canon to themselves.
Man, I'm really you can see this is why I didn't want to talk about it, because I hate, if there's anything I hate the most, more than anything, it's discussions of canonicity, being canon. I hate it. Just agree that everything's on the same medium, and just look at the old stuff before you make new stuff, so you can make sure your references are accurate. I don't know.
See, in this case, because they are shorts, I'm like, perfect. If they've been 30-minuters, I'd be right there with you. I'm like, that's me putting in a lot of time to follow this story. These are shorts. These are more like if you go on Disney Plus and you look at shows that existed, like Avengers Assemble or Star Wars Rebels, and you look through all the short section, they have shorts branched out of those. Sometimes they're canon, like in Star Wars, and then sometimes in like other shows, they're just little shorts that don't tie in. And in this case, this is just utilizing that character to sell some stuff to kids in the same way that Lego Star Wars is used to aim at kids.
So why did you need James Gunn for it?
He made the damn character. Like, he's not directly involved in it, is he?
I could have sworn he was like producing this. Maybe I'm
well,
totally
yeah,
wrong,
producing, but producing and writing are very different engagements.
That's a good point. That's a great
point. Canonicity. Hey, canonicity. That's a word. Shout out Benny Stein from the Direct. I read that in his article as I was looking this up. Let's move on.
Oh man, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. This I Am Groot series. If you're excited for it, I'm sorry for not understanding the excitement. I want to be excited. I think I'm just frustrated with myself for not understanding what's going to come of this. But maybe it's just for fun, and I'm just a grumpy old fart. But next up.
Continuing on the Guardians train really quick, because this is our next story.
Yes.
Marvel cast the Borat actress in
Borat actress in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
There it is.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's not my voice.
Thank you, accessibility.
That was so weird. How did that even happen? I have never done that before in my life. I obviously don't use accessibility here. Wow, yeah, and now my phone is just not working. That's
beautiful. I love it. Well, Maria Bakalova, from the from the Borat movie, is going to be in Guardians 3 apparently.
Here we go. I found it.
Just dropped today, right?
Yeah, just today. According to the outlet, Bakalova is not the unannounced actor teased by James Gunn when filming for the threequel. Wrapped. Yeah, you were right. It has wrapped, if that's the words that are just sent out. However, all this means is that it's come out that she's in the movie.
Right, exactly.
Meaning she's been signed on for at least 3 years.
Exactly. A lot of people misunderstand that when this news breaks, that it's not news to everyone. It just means it's public knowledge. So this right here, although that they're probably done with everything they need to do with her, someone got word that she's in this movie. This is an actress I'm not as familiar with. I think the only other thing I've seen her in recently is Judd Apatow's The Bubble on Netflix that came out a few months ago. It was a very minor role. She was the hotel attendant who was in love with Pedro Pascal's character.
I mean, aren't we all?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so she was a very relatable character. But that's the only other thing I've seen her in. I was looking at her IMDb before this, and I don't think there's a single other project on here other than Borat subsequent movies film, the sequel. I think that's the only other thing I saw her in, and I was not a fan of that one. So, but it wasn't because of her. It was just like the comedy's just not. It wasn't up my alley. So, but yeah, I've only seen her in one project, so I don't really know what to take away from this. What do you think?
I'm a fan because of what she did in that movie as an actress, having to do that. Basically, what she did in that movie is became the character Tutar. I'm not saying the last name from Borat's subsequent movie film. It's basically like being in the Renaissance Fair. You decide I'm this character, and I am this character as long as I'm working. So at a Ren Fair, you're on for 12 hours a day. In this case, she's dealing with real people sometimes who she does not know how they're going to act and react. So it is up to her as an actress to carry along the story while still being safe. That is kind of tough. Of course, you got producers there, but I mean, Rudy Giuliani cannot be trusted sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm very, very excited because of what she did in that. I will now go watch The Bubble, and I'm seeing here bodies, and that just sounds like a fun film. And I also think I want to go check out Transgression, because I think she's the lead in that, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know she had a lead credit.
She is the lead as Yana in Transgression, which is a film, I do believe. It's not telling me. It looks like a film.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about this actress. There's no telling what size of the role is that she's playing. I mean, she could be one of the main antagonists, or she could be another side character like she was in The Bubble. But even in that Netflix movie, her role did end up having some importance towards the end. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of it. I'm always welcome to new MCU actors because Marvel's casting department is like none other.
Sarah Hallie Finn can do no wrong.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So I'm hopeful. I think we'll I think we'll enjoy what she has to bring to the table to this Guardians franchise in their third and final film. But yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else here? Does anyone else know this actress from anything? I know we don't have any personal experience with her, but yeah, if anyone here knows any of her other works or has enjoyed her in any other project, feel free to drop it in the comments, and I'll definitely check it out. Because yeah, I'm excited to see what this Guardians 3 film's about. We really still don't even know what's going to be going on there. Is that Adam Warlock Easter egg going to be fulfilled, or are they going to go a different route? Are these Guardians all going to make it out? What are we looking at? Yeah, I don't think so either. But,
no.
But yeah,
not after Suicide Squad. Are you kidding me?
Right. I agree. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to watch. But yeah.
It's going to be
Thomas. We're about an hour in. I think we should probably take a little break. Yeah, same brain, same wavelength, and hear from a couple of our sponsors. What do you say?
I agree. And then after that, we'll come back into the diabolical season 3 of The Boys.
Love it.
We are
Stay
a touring
tuned.
acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live, and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room. We played from the bathroom. Thankfully, that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
And we are back, baby, and we're going to jump right on into our main topic, which is Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3 of The Boys. And my gosh, man, I don't honestly know if my brain is ready for what we're about to do here.
Yeah, you know what?
Are you ready? Are we going to be mind blown? Is our head going to explode if we don't do well?
There were a lot of things exploding in this opening to season 3. So yeah, if we're claimed as the next victims, then that's how it be. But
finally,
yeah, let's get right into it, man.
Not to be morbid. Yeah, so episode 1, here's how far I got in recapping before I stopped trying to recap. We caught up with the boys. They go to get Termite, and he blows up a dick.
Yep. Yeah,
that's where my notes ended.
That within the first 10 minutes of this first episode, we meet a new soup. We meet a new guy. His name's Termite, and he's basically Ant-Man without the Ant-Man suit. So he can shrink and grow on command without any tech needed. At least not any that we saw. But yeah, so he bumps a couple lines of cocaine, and an SFW warning. He has another guy put his dick out on the table, and then he just crawls right inside of it. Yeah. Man, that was
sounds stinging to me.
That was like a hey, just in case you forgot who we are moment. You know, like they're like, here's season 3, just in case you didn't catch up before this. If that recap wasn't enough, here's a dude's genitals exploding and another guy. You know what it was? It was the Thanos meme. It was literally them acknowledging, and this is crazy because we'll get into this in a moment. This single moment that happens within the first 10 minutes ends up setting up like basically this whole season for like a half dozen characters. So like it is a very important plot point. Yes. But they also in that same instance took that meme that everyone had of Ant-Man just crawling up Thanos' butt and then growing so he could kill him that way, and made that a reality. I don't think it was it was certainly a lot messier than I think a lot of people were imagining in their heads.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something straight out of a horror movie. Thomas, you and I were talking about this when it dropped, and I think we both agreed I know I haven't watched anything more violent than this show. And certainly not anything gorier than this show. At least not on a regular basis. But this show keeps bringing me back because even those most insane, grotesque instances have the most influence and weight to the plot and the story they're trying to tell. That single instance we see of Termite exploding inside this other guy sets up the entire premise of the 3rd season, that they're trying to bust these soups for using their powers recklessly, and that they're trying to get these guys and take them down for putting everyone else in danger and acting without consequence. And then we're thrust right into Huey's role in the show and how he's directly fighting this. And then we see how Billy Butcher is responding to it. We see how Starlight's reacting within the 7 at Vought. We get to catch up with Victoria Newman, Huey's new boss, the senator, or is it senator, congresswoman?
Both.
I think it's senator, or I guess one is the other. Every congresswoman is not a senator, but every senator is a congresswoman.
I don't know. I'm not a politician.
She's in Congress. She's got it. She's a big name in DC. I almost said Hollywood. Well, she's a big name in the political Hollywood. It was revealed at the end of season 2. She's the head popper. She's the one committing these quote unquote terrorist attacks where people's heads are just exploding spontaneously. And she's Huey's boss, and Huey finds that out within these first 3 episodes.
First episode, I believe, right? Or the second? I think it's the first.
It's within the first 2. Yeah, I don't remember.
There's only 2 deaths in the first episode. It is Termite's boyfriend, which we didn't mention. That he is doing this to give pleasure to his boyfriend because his boyfriend.
Oh, right. I totally forgot. Yeah, they're both high on
skipped
coke.
over that.
They're doing it for fun. It's not like he's forcing somebody to do this.
Yeah,
this is someone who literally asked him. He said,
I want you inside of me.
Yeah, I feel so uncomfortable saying that.
And then he just walks, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like they're gay. Like that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
and
I didn't know that's what was coming.
I didn't either. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And he shrinks, and I'm like, cool. And then he whips it and puts it on the table, and then we get a nice close up, and I'm like, oh, they're doing that.
Yeah,
that sounds very painful to me. I don't know if that would be enjoyable. And then the explosion happens because he'd done too much coke and he had to sneeze, and he sneezed, and that's what blew up his boyfriend. And then he's covered in his boyfriend's blood, and he just freaks out. And if Frenchie didn't show up, there's no telling what might have happened. But Frenchie shows up, and then they do this like little fight thing, right?
Right, because we find out that Frenchie and Butcher have been trying to track these guys down. So when Frenchie busts in, we realize Frenchie's there specifically for the reason of trying to bust Termite for something like exactly what just happened.
Yeah, to avoid that. And then Butcher scoops up Termite in a bag of coke and makes him OD.
Yeah, he scoops him up in a little bag of coke
real
and
hard.
Shakes him up. He pours him out. He's just puking on the table.
Roll him over. I think he's about to OD.
Man, that was such a creative way to take down a superhero. But man, right off the bat, we get this insane scene with a bunch of core characters to set us up in where we are in this universe. And then we find out in the coming scenes that it's 1 year later. It's a full year has passed since we last caught up with these guys. So Huey's been working for Victoria Newman for a year. Annie, Starlight, has been in the 7, knowing Homelander is a diabolical, maniacal piece of shit for a whole year, and she's been putting up with him for a year now. We catch up with Maeve for a minute, who's been apart from her partner for a year now.
Oh shit, dude!
Yeah, in case you forgot, they made sure we knew she was around, and then they totally left her to the side for the rest of this. So we don't know what Maeve is up to right now.
You said Maeve, and I go, oh my God, she's in this.
Yes, they are doing something with Maeve. They brought her in right off the bat, and then they were like, okay, now go stand over there. We're going to come back to you later. And they very conveniently have not revisited her story.
Only in the first episode, right?
Only in the first episode.
It was the second episode.
I don't even think she was shown in like a cutscene or in any of the other episodes. Like as present as the 7 has been in the second of the 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was there in any part of that. I think we saw every other member except her.
Fair.
But yeah, and we could go on and on because in these 3 episodes, they make sure we're caught up with every single one of these characters and where they're sitting, what stakes they're facing, what's to come for them, and what we should be worried about. And there's like almost a dozen characters they have to do that for now. And they're doing it with all of them. We even see it with the CIA commander, Grace Mallory. We get an amazing backstory on her that brings her so much closer to the forefront of the problems that they're facing. Because beforehand she just kind of felt like that person just kind of pulling the strings, and now she has like a direct personal stake in this. Anyway, I could go on and on about the character development and how quickly and how efficiently they're making us care about characters that I didn't want anything to do with by the end of season 2 even. But Thomas, just off the first episode, If you want to run through the plot, we'll do that. But the first episode alone, what were your thoughts coming out of it?
My thoughts coming out of it was, okay, all right. Like, I like what they did. I enjoyed that they mentioned it being a year. I don't remember how soon The Boys season 2 started after The Boys season 1. Like in the canon, I can't remember them even mentioning it. But this, we know it's a full year. So Maeve and like every Homelander's really revving up, right? He's been held down for a year, so he's really building up. Mother Milk has been out of the game, unsuccessfully trying to woo his wife, right? Away from Todd, I think is the guy's name.
Let's not glaze over that. The most heartbreaking scene is within the first 20 minutes of the first episode, where we catch up with Mother's Milk. And it shows him setting up for a birthday party for his 11-year-old daughter, and his wife is there, or who we thought was his wife. And that scene goes on for a minute or two, and then they're taking pictures. The three of them get together to take a family photo for the daughter's birthday, who, by the way, is dressed up like Starlight, which has got to be just eating at him, because we know how Mother's Milk feels about this. And then all of a sudden,
Annie.
He's okay with Annie by association. And then we hear his wife say, Todd, come here. We're taking pictures. And we see this dorky ass white dude come in a Homelander morph suit with a cape. And he's waltzing on over, and he gets in the family photo. And that's when you realize, oh, Mother's Milk is the odd man out in this scenario. She found someone new, and he's completely removed from the picture. And now he's the dad that has his own apartment, and is living away from all of this. And within a couple of seconds, it goes from this fun family adventure where you think, oh, yeah, finally, Mother's Milk got exactly what he wanted, what he said that he was trying to protect in the first 2 seasons. And then just like that, it's Mother's Milk lost everything. And he's got nothing now. And he still has his daughter, and he still loves his family, but he's been removed from that. And he no longer has that to keep him going in the same way, and now his motivations have totally changed. And we as we're catching up with him, we realize, oh, this isn't good at all. This wasn't the one good feel good story that we're going to get. This is also pain and grief and everything bad. But yeah, each time we catch up with one of these characters, you think you know what's going on, and then they throw a twist in there, and we see the same thing with Huey, finding out about Victoria Newman right off the bat. We thought that was going to be something that built throughout the 3rd season. They revealed it right away, and he found out within. Yeah, and now he already knows. And by the way, I think Newman might kind of like him. I think there might be a little something.
Right?
Yeah, right? I think it's more than just friends.
Oh man.
Either she's 3 steps ahead of him and she knows exactly what he's about, or she's kind of into him. And I feel bad for Annie, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens with what's going on in Annie's story. Thomas, do you want to go through what's going on with Starlight?
Not yet. Not really.
No.
I'm looking up a recap really quick. Let me see.
Very upset with.
I'm very mad about episode 3.
Episode 3 left us.
Okay, so I think you're right. I thought that Maeve gave. No, she did that. Yeah, so she gave Butcher the compound V24 in episode 1.
Yeah, the temporary V.
Yeah, the temp V. Yeah. So Maeve has literally not been seen since episode 1. You're right. I was like, she episode 2
literally gave Billy Butcher everything he needed to. I'm using it this time. I'm using the F-bomb. Fuck shit up. And then she has not been seen since. She's totally gone. And even in the Seven's headquarters, in the Vought building, even when during these events, now, and we'll get to this later, Starlight is elevated to a new position in the team, and she mentions that Maeve is better for it. But before, during, and after this transition takes place, Maeve is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Homelander doesn't even mention her. No one mentions her except for Starlight. And as soon as she does, Stan Edgar goes, no, it's you. We want you. It's your numbers. But anyway, Maeve is sneaking around. She was in civilian clothes the last time we saw her. Something very strange is going on with her. And I think she's got something going on in the background that's going to help out a lot. Or it could make things worse.
Ooh, you think a heel turn for Maeve is coming?
I don't know. I feel like the story so far is kind of predictable. I feel like I know there's a twist coming. It's Homelander. He's gone crazy and nothing can stop him and he doesn't even care anymore. And now we have to figure out how to stop him before it's too late. Come on. There's still 6 episodes left.
I hate to be this guy, but I heard some shit out of the comics.
No. We're not doing the comics here. We're not doing
Hold on. There's a very important quote somewhere in episode 2, I believe, Homelander's birthday. Is that episode 2? Yeah, that's episode 2, right?
No, it's episode 3 because they end it with that ceremony, don't they?
No, that's episode 2.
That's a totally different TV show that they end with. So, yeah, you're right. Episode 2 is the Homelander birthday episode because that's the same episode where we find out that Stormfront was alive. We found that out at the beginning of the season 3 opener. That Stormfront is alive and Homelander visits her frequently.
Shout out to Charlize Theron coming in to play Stormfront.
Real quick, another
like
Charlize Theron cameo.
Beautiful. And we also got Billy Zane in episode 2, so I'm a huge fan of these fucking cameos right now.
Yeah, they're really stepping it up. I'm hoping we'll see Seth Rogen. He's been a long-time producer on this show. I want him to pop up.
Let's go.
I can't remember if he's done a voice in this show already. I don't think he has, but but yeah, the cameos so far this year have been spectacular.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stormfront. They
still alive in episode 1.
Apparently.
Dead in episode 2.
They kept her alive for the 3rd season just to kill her in the 2nd episode. Turns out it's going to be a huge turning point for Homelander. And I guess they wanted to save that for season 3 to put a little extra oomph on it. But yeah, man, she was nothing. She's exactly how she was when we left her in at the end of season 2. She's one
Anakin.
limb. She has one limb, and she is Anakin. She's absolutely Anakin. She's got one limb and one eye.
Can we talk about Homelander and his narcissism and to be fair, in the scenes that he has with Stormfront, for the most part, I don't really disagree with him.
I do have to say, well, maybe that's also because he's arguing with a Nazi.
Yes, exactly. And that's what's insane. This jackass is just like, he's terrible, but it's like, I don't need a Fourth Reich. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. He's totally dismissive of her actual end game.
Yeah.
But he's still a maniac, but he's like, we're not going to take it that far.
So in episode 1, he comes over and she's like, let me help you. And that's basically a tug off until she starts mentioning the Ubermensch and direct lines from the beginning cameo in the movie from Charlize Theron saying the exact same lines. And it's like, you will be the Ubermensch. And he's like, what? No, I don't need the master race. I am the master race. That's it. Just me. Don't need any more.
Right.
And she's like, no, but we need. And he's like, oh my God, just stop. She starts crying and he starts being an asshole. And then he's trying to talk to her at the beginning of episode 2. Like, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. And then she just sits there crying. And we'll get to the rest of it later.
Very silently crying, might I add. She as still as it's crazy how I thought she was dead at first when he was walking up to her, and then it showed her eyes kind of moving, and I was like, oh no, or excuse me, singular eye, because her other eye is scarred over, which is disgusting. But she's just laying there just like, this is the worst, but yeah, I love that Stormfront, and even though she was the co-main antagonist of season 2, they've kind of morphed her character into one specific faction of humanity and how they would react to a guy like Homelander. Like, oh, the master race, we have to. This is the goal, you know. And it's like she's kind of just become this subsection of humans that like, oh, that's how a group of people would react if someone like Homelander existed, you know. And he's just like, oh no, that's not, you know,
Superman is a god.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just like Zack Snyder took a very kind of Greek god type approach to humanity in his Superman films. I feel like almost in a way Stormfront had that same reaction to Homelander, where he was like this I don't know, divine being that had to further humanity's progress. But yeah, the layers they have in every character conversation, Stormfront included, you know, they only had one scene together where they spoke anything to each other, or where she spoke, you know, and they added this whole other layer to her character in doing that. And then they killed her off.
Yeah. By biting off her own damn tongue.
Yeah. And then
which is intense.
They closed that scene with Homelander laying in her bed. And
it's basically the scene from the trailer, like playing in the blood,
stroking the little blood spot that was left on the bed from where she died. That dude is straight up unwell. Like I cannot believe the lengths they go to communicate how crazy he is. Like, this whole, like, if you told me that this show was only about his descent into madness, I'd believe you, because so much focus is put on Homelander and how purely insane he's become, and how this ultimate power has truly driven him to a point where he could not be further removed from humanity, even though he, you know, people claim he has those same emotions and he does still fall victim to them. He could not be further removed from everyone else that he's claiming that, you know, is expecting him to protect them, you know? So, Homelander is only getting crazier, dude. But we still haven't talked a lot about Starlight. They've been doing a lot with her character. I want to get into that.
Before I've been trying to find the damn speech. That he goes on a very good evil monologue at the end of episode 2.
Was that the scene that he had with
it's
Butcher?
No.
Or is it the one he had with Starlight?
It's the one he has on live television.
Oh, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's the end of episode 2.
I do believe that's the end of episode.
Oh, you're right, because
it's not. It's
no, the third episode is the reaction to that, I believe, because it's during the birthday special that happens.
So how this recap that I'm looking at is layered. It is Homelander's section, and then it jumps to Annie, and then Newman and Edgar, and continuing on, and then Marvin, and then all that other stuff. It doesn't seem to be fully layered out. Episode 2 also has Butcher beating the crap out of Gunpowder, and then, you know, in the end, just literally
that's another guy. Yeah, we have not even talked about the history of Soups that is being covered in these first 3 episodes. So on top of all the current events that we're dealing with, and the head popping and the Homelander maniac, we're also chasing down an old super by the name of Soldier Boy, who's played by Jensen Ackles, and he was heavily featured in all the promo for this, so we knew that the plot would revolve around his character. But they even dropped a line saying that he might be as powerful as Homelander. Yeah. And the weapon that the boys are trying to find in this season is what allegedly killed Soldier Boy. We still have gotten zero confirmation of that, and they've been laying it on real heavy that that's probably not what happened. And based on the trailers, we know
if you saw the trailer,
but
and if you know Captain America lore, you'll be fine.
Exactly right. So we're basically going to meet the Winter Soldier of this universe, but
oh god, leading up to that, we get to learn this whole new section of the boys' history, and we meet heroes like Gunpowder, and we get to see Black Noir in his origin days, where he takes his mask off, and we hear him talk. And we learn why he doesn't talk. And we meet Crimson Countess, who is now like puts on a show at the Vought theme park. Yeah. But she was a legit part of the what was their superhero group name? Payback. Payback.
Yeah, it was like a superhero group that was like not a rival, but like an industry rival, if you will, of the Seven back in the day. But that is the faction of heroes that the Soldier Boy was a part of, and Gunpowder was his sidekick. So they're trying to track down what killed Soldier Boy, and Gunpowder is someone they come to meet. And he's kind of portrayed as like this right-wing enthusiast who is very pro-Second Amendment because his name's Gunpowder. And he's like an expert marksman who's like also knows a lot about basically every firearm. But yeah, Billy goes to confront him, and that's the first time we see Billy Butcher take this Compound V, this temporary 24-hour effect Compound V, or at least that's what he's told. But then I think what we're finding out is the 24 hours is the least of his worries, because long after the fact, Billy is suffering from some pretty sickening side effects from this Compound V that he took, where his eyes are glowing and his stomach is all twisted in knots, and he's got the sweats, dude. He's got the meat sweats.
Yeah,
but,
he was
got
real
the soup
sweaty.
Sweats. But yeah,
sweats.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen everything that was shown in the promo of Billy taking this serum. So either he's going to get back on it, or it's going to have some permanent effects. But either way, Butcher is on a new path, which was a very interesting character study too, because the inner conflict that he had to get to that point of, should I take this serum? Should I, take myself to that level, whether it's higher or lower? That was the difference between me and them, was that they rely on these powers and I don't. But he's it's that line, leveling the playing field, and it has a cool payoff, because you hate Gunpowder almost immediately. This character is not a likable one. And you can tell right away he's hiding something, and as soon as he reveals it, Butcher's basically like, okay, well, I'm ending your subscription to life. And he's like, there's no need for the world to have Gunpowder anymore. And he takes him out by just continually punching him in the face.
Until he loses control and his laser eyes cuts him into some pieces.
Yeah. And it has that weird like animation style or like cartoon style look where you look back at him and Gunpowder sitting like this, all like in shock, and then all of a sudden half his body just kind of slides off,
Yeah.
Along with half the car that was sitting behind him. But yeah, so we see Billy Butcher in a whole new light here. Man, and there's still characters we barely touched on. We've got Frenchie and Kimiko. We've got.
We're gonna have to circle back. I think we should continue Homelander and Butcher into season 3, because this is where their path starts to just be like they're the same guy.
Right.
And we did never get to the scene about Ryan and Butcher, because that, I believe, was in episode 3.
I think you're
Am
right.
I wrong?
No, that they cap it off with that. They leave us wanting a resolution there. So yeah, we'll get to that in a second, because
wait, Butcher and Homelander?
Oh, I thought you said Butcher and Ryan. My bad. No, Butcher and Homelander.
I did mean Butcher and Homelander. No matter what I said, that's definitely what I meant.
I don't know. Actually, was that was episode 2? I think that was episode 2, where they meet in Butcher's apartment, right?
You're right, because that's before he'd taken the stuff. That's why I keep getting confused. Yes, so that is episode 2. Let's talk about that scene, because that leads us into basically what Butcher just did. A, and B, what he's about to do going forward. Right.
So Butcher's in his apartment and Homelander appears on his balcony. And it's that classic kind of hero versus villain kind of back and forth that you get, where it's like kind of like a scene to set up the conflict that's going to be going on moving forward, so they can make sure you're on the same page in terms of like where the hero stands with this issue, where the villain stands, and how, and where they're at in terms of each other, so you can kind of align with their thought process moving forward. So you can carry on saying, oh, Butcher just had this super heavy conversation with Homelander, so the decision that he makes here, and here will be based on that conversation. So they sit down and they talk, and Homelander's basically challenging him. Homelander knows that Butcher can level the playing field and they can duke it out. Homelander knows that Butcher has that temporary compound V where he can take it and they can finally level that playing field and have a fair fight. And in this conversation, Butcher never reveals that that's the case, that he does have that, because Homelander's also testing to see if Maeve betrayed him. You know, to me, it seems like Homelander's suspicious, but doesn't know for sure. So he's going there to test it. But Butcher's taking that as Homelander knowing what's going on and just refusing to accept any of it, but entertaining the conversation to see where Homelander's going. So Homelander's saying, you could take that serum, we could duke it out, we could finally figure this out. And Butcher's going, man, I'd like nothing more than that. Just kind of, you know, getting him to spill, you know, what Homelander's headspace is like here. And it kind of seems like Homelander's just looking for anything that can just end his miserable life. It really seems like he's at a point where he's like, oh, Maeve gave Butcher some of this serum that might level the playing field. I better go talk to this guy and see if maybe he's actually up for that. It almost feels like maybe not all of him, and maybe not even consciously, but it seems like Homelander wants it. And it seems like he wants it because there's the possibility of Butcher winning. I think Homelander is at a point in his life where even if it's not a conscious choice that he's making, he's looking for a way out, because he doesn't see like there's any real point left in living. And we see that play out again later in what he tells Starlight.
Yeah. So here, let's talk about this scene a little bit and what it's setting up. In the comics, eventually they have an all-out last man standing. Apparently it's the ending of the comic. I have no idea. I just read that online. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. It's probably true. In The Boys season 1, Butcher wasn't on Homelander's radar, right? In season 2, he was just an inconvenience. He seized Ryan, almost ruined Homelander's career. So now he sees him as like a worthy opponent.
And someone who has at least some sort of leverage on him.
Yeah, and Homelander pledges not to laser Butcher to death right there because he wants the sport of a proper battle. They end up agreeing to go all out to the death, and it feels like it's pushing, you know, the war just starts there. But their conversation about payback apparently like subtly points towards some of the comic ending as well, But what happens in the comics, cover your ears here, JRB, is he becomes President Homelander. And it's teased in this episode when he tells Starlight that if she releases the crash footage, he'll stage a global coup and kill everybody. And then slowly to start destroying cities that are important to our friends on the cast, right? The boys, you know, oh, I'll go to Des Moines, oh, I'll go to New York, and then I'll just take out any other one I don't
personal.
Yeah.
Really trying to lay it on thick to say, like, dude, if I wanted to, I could ruin your whole life.
And so Homelander also agrees with Butcher, scorched earth, shock and awe, blood and bone. That's what Homelander wants. And so they're basically like setting that up. That's where they're pointing this towards for them to. And what's intriguing is that in episode 3, Billy Butcher becomes the biggest piece of shit in the gosh damn world. All right. I'm going to try and remain calm here.
Let's just preface this. Now that we're getting into episode 3, into the thick of it, Thomas is mad at everyone.
Revenge of the Sith is happening. And it's me. I'm the Sith. I'm getting revenge on my rage. Accidental Macho Man voice. Hell yeah, man. Love it. So I'm going to keep this short. Butcher goes to Grace Mallory with the homies, and he gets the story of what happened with Soldier Boy and what their last mission together that Grace Mallory was also at, ironically. And while there, he starts pressing, and him and Grace get into an argument, and they go. And then she says, "I was wrong. You're just like your father." He goes outside. Ryan tries to get him to stop the leave with super strength. And then Billy Butcher, that stupid son of a bitch, goes after Ryan's heart, and I wanted Ryan to laser him in fucking half. I was so mad with that toxic parenting of Billy Butcher.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even what pissed me off the most in episode 3. I should have wrote down a list of everything that pissed me off, because I could have filled 2 hours. I was mad. I was mad at the beginning of episode 3 when they show Starlight doing her thing and having to like grip her hand behind her back because she's uncomfortable, having to do a sexy oops, I did it.
Yeah, I gotta say,
right?
seeing
that
the
pissed me
flashback
off so fucking much,
the
man.
flashback of Starlight in her pageant days where she was an up and coming super trying to get discovered, and her mom was like a toxic dance mom. That really felt like a unnecessary deviation where like I was like, I don't know, it really took me out until I saw how they resolved it by the end of the episode. Then I was 100% on board. I was like, whoa, this writing is freaking killer, dude. Eric Kripke has put together seasons upon seasons of this now, and usually when you get into like a 3rd or 4th season of a show, you start to lose sight of what the goal was, and it starts to evolve and become its own thing, bigger than what the original idea was for the show. You don't get that with this. Like, The Boys still feels like the same goal, but they still keep it interesting and new and fresh, and learning about a main character's backstory at the beginning of season. Starlight is one of the main characters of the show. Like, if you had to list 4 main characters of the show, she's one of them.
Oh yeah.
And we're still learning about her backstory as a superhero that we haven't known in these past years. And it's adding another layer to her story that makes this show more enjoyable. It's really hard to retcon stuff like that and make it, purely enjoyable without it feeling forced. I don't think this felt like that at all.
No. So Billy Butcher, back to that dickhead. He's trying to get Ryan to just go away, in the way that like you want an animal to leave you alone because you're, and then you yell at it. Yeah. He looks at the kid and says, "Oh, you gonna cut me in half just like you did my Becca? You mother..." I literally... Anyways. Homelander, right, is out here changing the entire script of this show that they're doing. What is it called? American Hero, I believe. Yeah,
it's essentially like American Ninja Warrior, but the winner is wins a spot on the 7.
So, important note, the episode starts off with Homelander being told that his numbers went up 21 points after his blow up, especially with white males in the Rust Belt, and that Ashley kind of made him realize Ashley won. There's 2 Ashleys now. I like
now
better.
Now Ashley, the assistant to the Soups, the producer, if you will, the showrunner, it kind of seems to be her role, she's kind of like the Alfred of the group, really. Is she makes sure everything runs, but she's a stressed out like agent almost. And now she has an assistant also named Ashley. Yeah. Which is a hilarious joke. But like it makes for some really fun banter. But she is continuing to she's very on brand. She's continuing to lose her mind.
Absolutely. Homelander, they make a mention about points going up, right? All of this good shit. Along the way, he is trying to do everything in his power to change what's going on. And eventually he tells, he says that Stormfront reminded him that being feared by the masses can be more powerful than being loved in a way. And he mentions that by saying, "I'd prefer to be loved, but if you take that away from me, being feared is A1 okie doke by me." And that's when he drops in the "I'll kill everybody."
Because Starlight is threatening to release that video of the plane going down and him refusing to help.
Yeah. So it is very annoying to me that the very next thing, like, she wants Silver Kincaid, but nobody at Vault wants a Muslim superhero. And she ends up telling Supersonic about Homelander's true nature, trying to convince him not to join the Seven, right? I'm diving into the Starlight stuff here. I meant to stay on just Homelander. My bad. Let me get back to Homelander because I get.
Yeah, we got to talk about who Supersonic is to Starlight, because that's huge.
Yeah. So real quick, Homelander brings in the Deep, which is, that's fucking awesome for Starlight. He gets brought back into the Seven. And it's mentioned, where's the Deep been? Let me tell you, he's promoting his ghost-written book, Deeper, about him and Cassandra's escape from the Church of the Collective. Apparently, Malcolm Gladwell called him the next Leah Remini in The New Yorker. Look up that name if you don't know. Then, he's also starring in a movie adaptation of his memoir entitled Not Without My Dolphin. That's where we get the Billy Zane cameo. So, that brings us to episode 3. Now he's back on the team. And then Homelander makes that mother so the Deep ends up right after having sex with his wife and going off because of the octopus. And maybe she noticed that, maybe she didn't, because not like 2 scenes later, this is when my rage really started picking up, man.
Oh, she noticed
when Homelander brings the Deep in. All he has is seafood. And we saw this in the trailer. And he's like, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to eat this. And, I'll eat some of this. It's cooked. Then he brings him a live octopus. He's like, oh my God, it's Timothy. And it gets to the point where the line is, eat motherfucking Timothy. And so he gets a text from his wife that says, eat the octopus in all caps.
Who, by the way, is the only other person in that room who is familiar with that said octopus and has had a scene with it in the same episode.
Yeah.
Not suspicious at all. Not at all suspicious.
And I'm not at all angry or anything about, but like he's
praying. He's praying
but yeah, dude, like that's fucking haunting.
We have to watch the Deep pick up this octopus with chopsticks and just force it into his own mouth. And he's saying the whole time, like, he's begging for his life, please. And as he's eating it, he goes, oh, he's praying. He says, please, he has a family. Like, it's terrible.
It's important to note that this guy in episode 1, quoting Starlight here, mouth rapes her.
Yeah. Which is one of the first experiences that Starlight has with the Seven in season 1.
Exactly. And then in season 1, he gets abused. And I'm like, oh, you learn your lesson. And then he just keeps having shit happen. And I'm like, oh, you learn your lesson. Okay. This scene? Nah, man. That was too much. Now I feel bad for the Deep. I'm pissed at him. I still hate him because he agreed to go through it. I don't want to say I'd have let myself get killed by Homelander, but I might have let myself get killed by Homelander.
He's in such a weird spot because you're right. He's like, it's almost like he's positioned as like a victim here. And
he is.
Which is so strange because then also in that same situation they're in, one of his victims is also directly involved. It's very strange. But yeah, like his wife seems uber manipulative. Yeah. Like she has some sort of hand in this or some sort of goal that's bigger than just being married to a member of the Seven.
I mean, it's almost like was in a cult or something.
I definitely think that the Church of the Collective is not done here. I think it's suspicious that we've seen so little of them so far, especially with how prominent the Deep's affiliation with them was in the second season. We haven't seen a single damn can of Fresca yet, and I'm very suspicious about that.
Thank fucking God. Honestly, thank God for that. I can't even pretend to act like I care about it. All right. Well, where are we at? That was Homelander, right?
Yes.
It ends with a really big thing with Homelander on the episode. Let's catch you up on Starlight and Huey real fast. Starlight and Huey are in from the very beginning. He tells Starlight right away when Newman blows the head up and all of that good shit, and he calls out of work, or he slices his hand, goes in, etc. He has to deal with working with Newman. She tells him, she being Starlight, don't go investigate without me. And of course, Huey being too impatient and insecure about his reliance on his girlfriend, I guess, is kind of there because he's very codependent. Decides not to wait for her to investigate Newman and goes to Red River Institute by himself. Turns out there's a bunch of kids there, and that's where the kids are. Is this the boys' college thing that they were like? This could be the start of that. Like, just to think about that.
It definitely had some like X-Men vibes, except everyone there was like terrifying.
Yeah. Where is it? Hold on, let me see if I can find that really fast. Here we go. Yeah. The teleporting kid actually is Teddy Stillwell, Madeline's orphan son.
Whoa, no way.
That's what I read. Somewhere along. Shout out Vulture for that. Shout out Vulture for that tidbit. That was very
nice. Huge. Wow. Okay, that's really cool.
That was cool.
Is that really canon to the show, or is that just a comic thing?
Yes, I don't know. It was just in
yes,
it was in one of their tidbit extra tidbits.
Wow, that's really cool.
Had.
She hasn't been around since the end of season 1, right? Or no, she's been part of season 2, but just as like a
God, as a dude,
as a copycat, or whatever his name was. Yeah,
it was Copycat actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I was like, I don't remember his name. Copycat. Yeah, it was that.
Nice.
So Huey downloads all these files and says that he and Starlight are trying to have a kid. They're trying to adopt a kid because he's, his sperm are bad, like really bad.
Yeah,
that's a direct quote. And so that leads to him getting some information. And he is able to then, I don't even fucking remember what he does because I'm just still mad about episode 3, bro.
Well, essentially, the whole reason he was there
in this,
he's essentially
he finds out info.
He does find out info. Yes. No,
on Nadia Newman, Vicky.
Yes. So essentially, his boss, Victoria Newman, the congresswoman, he was accompanying her at the press, the press release, the opening night of the mock Justice League movie, The Seven. It was essentially Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it was The Seven. And so they were there for the premiere of that movie, and Victoria Newman was there, and Huey accompanied her as her colleague because Starlight was also there. And there was a guy that showed up and was screaming, Nadia, Nadia, at Victoria Newman. And he thought it was pretty strange. And this guy shows up again later in the episode and shows up to their place of work looking for Newman and still calling her Nadia, just saying, look, my name's, what was it, Tony? Or I forgot his name. But he's like, look, she'll remember. Just tell her my name. She'll know. And Huey decides not to pass along the message. Instead, he sees Newman leave work that night, and the dude is still waiting for her, and he follows them. And he finds out Newman's true past as this Nadia character. And so that's why he comes to this orphanage, is because apparently he's looking for more information on this Nadia character who he thought was Victoria Newman.
Correct. So what happens after that is he gets confronted by Nadia Newman. Oh, I love it. We're calling her Nadia Newman from this point forward.
I like that. There's no way Newman's her actual last name, but I like that.
Oh, hell no. But I mean, she never had a last name. Let's be honest.
Cool.
And he comes in with a handy alibi that they were fighting because, Huey had been a little flaky as of late.
Yeah.
They end up getting in a real fight. And then they have that, they argue apparently at the top of the point
Huey and Starlight, that is. Yeah. Starlight surprises him at work.
Yeah, Annie. Sorry, I called her.
I
said Annie, not
Annie. No, you're right. I totally forgot about this part. He's at work trying to explain what cut his hand open and where he's been, and Newman's not buying it. And then Annie swoops in and says, "Oh, we were fighting," and then that causes Huey to get mad, and they get in an actual fight in front of her.
It's fucking great.
It's amazing.
At first, I thought it was a play, like they fake fight, and then I'm like, oh no, they're like really fighting.
No, and Newman goes, "I'll give you guys a minute." She walks away, and they keep fighting.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, this is real, right? And it kind of ends with like a mentioning of opening the jar, which is how Huey cut his hand open. He was trying to open it, got mad, smashed it. I can't say we've not all been there, whatever. The fight ends with Huey telling the truth, of course, which is he was so blind to the truth, the Newman revelation, he thought he knew everything, but what was worse is that was his friend, someone he'd been working with for a year.
Right. Not only was it someone he was feeding every single piece of intel to that he received, it was someone he trusted on a deeper level than that. It was someone he trusted as a confidant, as a friend, as a companion in this fight that he's been fighting for years now. And he spent an entire year with this person.
Yeah. And he mentions that it was a waste of a year, and it's devastating, and it triggers a perspective shift in him in a way.
Right. Because
which
he thought
is,
he had finally found the way to fight the right way.
The right way. And there is no right way. We got to play just as fucking dirty.
Because as he said, it's all rigged. That was my favorite line as Huey admits, it's all rigged. Billy, you were right. I love that, because Butcher's been trying to drill that into his head this whole time, is that no matter how hard you try, these guys are ahead of us, and it's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. I love that, because that theme that's been playing these first 2 seasons rang true within these first 3 episodes as Huey came full circle, and he's right back to where he was in that opening episode of the first season, where he's left holding the 2 hands of his girlfriend because A-Train blew right through her and faced no consequence for it. So he's right back where he started, where he realized, man, no matter what I do, these guys are still getting away with this.
Some bullshit, right?
Absolutely.
I also forgot to mention about Butcher because I was breezing past. He was actually thinking about getting out of the game after he was shot by gunpowder. He watched an emotional stop motion animation of Becca's voicemail.
Oh my god,
that was amazing.
Well, hold on, but who was that made by?
It was made by Ryan.
Ryan made the stop motion animation of his Legos, and he overlaid a voicemail from Becca on, and it was like his Legos acting out what she was saying. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe that this was in the same 3 episode span as a guy's dick getting blown up, because I was almost crying by the end of that. Like hearing what she was saying, say, I'll see you soon. Oh wow. That was,
and in this moment, in episode 2, he realizes that Grace Mallory might be right. And he's thinking about getting out of the game like mother's milk.
Right.
So that's important. Back to Starlight and Huey. Going into episode 3, Supersonic, it's been revealed as like an old flame of Starlight along the way.
From Christian superhero camp.
From Christian superhero camp. Good point. And along the way, Huey in episode 3 ends up going to help with, it'll hit me in a second, Butcher. He has his arm broken by Kimiko, and pretty much it was very, very, very early on in the episode that Huey asks Starlight to stick it out, buy them some time, to buy some time, do whatever she has to do, basically. And this is after the Deep. It's after getting informed that the Deep is joining the 7. And this is when she also reveals to Supersonic that what Homelander's true nature is, trying to convince him not to join the 7. But then eventually he wants to stick around to have her back. And it is quite literally where I went, oh, fuck, Supersonic might be the guy. Because he's like, he looks at her, I'm assuming not knowing everything else that's been going on around her, and is like, somebody's got to have your back. And in that moment, but in general, it's the only person who has her back right then. Even Huey. And this is where I got angry. All right. I'm gonna get there. I'm here now. Fuck you, Huey. Because he doesn't even talk to her ever again this episode, right? So I can end Huey. All right, Huey. What the frack are you thinking, bro? To be fair, I understand his mindset. I understand what he was trying to say. But at the same time, he could have said it a lot more diplomatically. He could have not used the very same language that her mother used, and he could have nurtured her a lot more there.
Right.
You know,
because now Annie feels like it's her against the world again.
Yeah.
And now, who's her one ally? It's Supersonic.
Yeah, and it's important to note that along this show, they say that love triangles generate 47% surge in trending topics on social media, which is funny because because there's a fake love triangle and a real love triangle all happening at once, because everyone knows that Starlight is with Huey, I do believe, or at least publicly or privately. So
Huey has an issue with pictures together at the movie premiere too. So there's some sort of public knowledge about it.
Some sort, like they were shown on TV together. Shout out Madeline Stillwell's orphan child for pointing that out to us. Little teleportation kid, teleporting Teddy. Oh, what a name! Teleporting Teddy. That's like a teddy bear too.
We got it.
Back to the plot. Starlight, along this whole shtick of this episode, ends up sticking it out. And at the very end of the episode, it comes out to the point that Homelander and Starlight are now in a fake relationship for the public because they have a combined Q rating of 98, and that's never been done before. And that's the only reason Homelander gives a damn about Starlight and how it makes his image look. Hashtag Homelight, fucking kill me.
Right,
like
because
fucking kill me. The biggest narcissistic Nazi, but not a Nazi, piece of shit in this show, dude. Okay, I can't wait for him to die. If that happens, I haven't read the comics, right? I can't wait for this guy to die, and I don't think I'm ever really gonna get it because he's a piece of shit. All right, Starlight consistently being forced to do these horrible things that she has said no to, but people force her to do, makes me want to punch everything. I had to clean after. I was so pissed off that I felt like mother's milk. I was either going to put holes in walls or I was going to clean and fix some shit. I went with constructive instead of destructive. If I were 10, I would have went all Homelander on some walls, man. But like, I was so... It started with the... baby hit me baby one more time. Yeah, it started with that, and I was like
a 10-year-old.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't mind it being sung by a 10-year-old. I was maybe a 10-year-old when that song came out.
No, I think that scene was written in a way to make you kind of draw back and go, I don't like this.
It's not the singing that I had a problem.
No.
It's the environment. Suggestive dancing.
It's like the very suggestive dancing.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's kind of cute. And then she starts like hip thrusting, and her mom's like, yeah, good girl. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's where we get the key, the cue of gripping the hand behind your back. I have Tourette's. So that shit really pissed me off when I saw her do that, because that's what I do when like I'm twitching or I'm about to lose control and I have nothing but to do, and I just squeeze my hand. So when I saw that early on, I was like, oh God, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad for a lot of this episode if this is how they're starting with Starlight, who's kind of my favorite character. Overall, it's the only one where I'm not like, kind of hate you for that. She's the only light. She's the only beacon of light in this show.
Oh, imagine that.
It's weird.
Home light. I don't like the hashtag home light, but I think it is suggesting that you're right. She's the only source of real light here.
I hate everything.
I think there's a lot more going on with her character, though, than we're realizing yet. And I think a lot of it's going to come from this supersonic guy. I know he's being positioned as this guy who's going to be like the saving grace, and he's going to step in as like the hero that she needs.
Oh,
I'm really suspicious that he's some sort of plant, because he's really been thrusted into the spotlight, and Vought's talking all about these numbers and how Starlight has to be co-captain because it's never been done before with these numbers. And they're also talking about how this love triangle's got some serious numbers.
Oh man.
And it's very clear that
saying that they're going to try and do a supersonic Starlight Homelander love triangle.
All I'm saying is that,
oh my God. And then Homelander's going to kill him.
They've alluded to some love triangles before. If they have this guy killed off to show that Homelander loves her that much, I'm going to be blown away. But in that same respect,
loves.
What if
quote,
he's a
please,
plant
around love?
I personally believe we've already met multiple plants from the Church of the Collective. and the Deep's wife is one of them. I think Supersonic's the other one. And the main reason I think that is because they made sure to establish his religious background. They made sure that Annie only knew him because of her religious affiliation. And he's been all of a sudden thrusted into the spotlight when the Church of the Collective, the entire second season, was saying, we have ways to get you back into the 7. We know who to talk to get you another chance to get on the 7 again. And although the Deep did get back there, by the way, through that very same show, all of a sudden Supersonic comes out of nowhere and he's got a shot at the 7 now. What other way do we know of currently where you can compete for a spot on the 7 and get wiggled back in there? This game show's the only way I know of.
I'm trying to find his backstory because
I don't want to know his backstory. I don't want to know the comic.
He talks about it. No, he talks about it.
In the show. Okay. I was like,
with
if you're about to tell me some comic
stuff,
stuff,
my bad.
The Stormfront Nazi twist was ruined for me in the second season because of comic explaining. So yeah, gotcha. I'm avoiding that this season.
No, he tells Annie like I got in trouble, and because of that, it led to like things.
I must have totally missed that part, but that's exactly what happened to the Deep.
Yeah,
he got in trouble and he got sent away, and then he ended up at the Church of the Collective. I think we're onto something here. I'm calling it now. I think Supersonic is the new in for the Church of the Collective because the Deep defected, because they made it clear that he cut all ties with the Church of the Collective. So they're going to need a new candidate now that they don't have him. And I think it's Supersonic.
I like that, man. I like that a lot. I am un momento, por favor. I'm finding his backstory that he said. I'm trying to find the exact quote. Something about like getting in trouble with drugs and having someone help him out and all of that, because I didn't think about it. And you said that. And now I'm like, I'm losing my mind here, Jerry.
Now we're going to do some digging.
We're going to do some live on the air research. Shout out research
as we hit the 2-hour mark. But if anyone is following along with us right now, drop your comments in the comments. Let us know what you thought of these first 3 episodes. If there's anything we haven't covered yet, I know we still haven't talked at all about Kimiko or Frenchie, and their stories are just as compelling. I mean, the first time we see Kimiko in this show, she breaks out into song. And for anyone following along, she's mute. She can't talk. They do trick us. Within the 10 seconds, we realize that they faked us out and that it was her daydreaming. But there's been a musical number teased several times for this season, and they're already alluding to that in these first 3 episodes. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with her character, because she seems so over the fact that she's a soup. She hates it. She even had a conversation, a really deep conversation with Ryan, Homelander and Becca's son, where he's basically asking her, like, do you have powers? Are you scared of them like I am? And she basically signs back to him, like, which I hate having my powers. She types it in her phone. Thank you. Because I was wondering how he recognized that. But she types it in her phone. I wish I never had these powers, or I wish I could get rid of them. And he goes, yeah, me too. And man, the weight and the emotion that came with that scene is crazy. So we're definitely going to see that play out a little further. But Thomas, have you pulled up anything else on Supersonic yet? Do we know anything more about this mysterious lad that's come onto the scene and become?
No,
did they say is he the first Latino American member of the 7? Is that what they said?
I think so. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's very cool. He seems like a good guy.
I really hope
it's not a bitch better be.
Sorry. I hope it's not for nothing though, because they keep adding people to the 7 and they keep being really bad.
Here it is. Here it is. I found it. We're good. So he used to be Drummer Boy, right? And his name is Alex. He used to be Drummer Boy.
That's right. I forgot about the Drummer
Starlight. Boy. Then he had a long stint spent in rehab.
Where?
It doesn't say.
Exactly.
That's when you mentioned that, I said, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
This lines up with the details I remember. So he portrayed by Miles Gaston Villanueva as an adult.
Handsome guy.
Very, very handsome guy. Look at that.
Wait,
Like that
did you
chin.
say-
Beautiful.
Did you say as an adult?
As an adult, we see him as drummer boy
Oh,
when
that's
they're
right.
doing the dance and their dance because he used
That's
to be
right,
a pop
we saw
star,
him singing. That's right.
a
We saw
pop
him.
singer, and all that good stuff. But yeah, along that time, the rumors about his relationship with Starlight started coming out, so that kind of helped propel him up in the charts a little bit as well.
It was basically the whole reason
he could
was
be
relevant in that.
He could
in
be.
that game show.
I
mean, he's talented.
He was
but
the
also,
reason the storyline was relevant. Like
the way I interpreted it was that the reason they were choosing him was for the publicity because he had that history with Starlight.
Mhm.
So in my mind, to the 7 at least, that's the only reason why he's relevant. He could be one of the better superheroes, but I think it's clear Vought doesn't care about that.
No, they only care about the money and the numbers.
Right, because Stan Edgar, Giancarlo Esposito, who, by the way, carries right over into the 3rd season as the exact same menacing corporate overlord.
Wow.
He is so consistent in his performance, just like everyone else on the show. But having that Stan Edgar who will pop in and remind you that, oh, there's an even bigger guy controlling all of this, even above Homelander, who's got some sort of who just straight up doesn't care. He's like, Homelander will listen to me. Like, there's no way around that. What I say is final. But yeah, I think with wow, I totally lost my train of thought there.
All good.
Stan Edgar
forgot.
though, and
we get a
that's
young
what it was,
Stan
the
Edgar.
Numbers. It's a company, and he made it clear we don't care about superheroes. I'm trying to phase this out. I don't want our company to be this.
It's a babysitting club, he says.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he yeah. It's you get this whole different perspective of with how centralized the 7 and Homelander and Vought as a company have become in this superhero discussion. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want any part of it. And he wants to get out of it and is trying to find a way to wiggle free. And due to that, we see some more political affiliations with the company too. But yeah, man, there's so much that happened. Each episode was an hour long. It was 60 minutes, 62 minutes, and then 60 minutes again. That is including the credits, but we had 3 full hours of content to get through to introduce us to this 3rd season. And
Kimiko, Frenchie. Okay, so Frenchie, really quick, gets taken by little Nina. It's only important because at the end of episode 3, they decide we're going to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls him a lapdog, and he used to chase after little Nina, but now he's a lapdog for Butcher. And what pissed me off about Frenchie, as soon as he says call little Nina, he's like, oui, monsieur. Like, he's sarcastic, but he's gonna do it. That pissed me off. Starlight deciding to go the way she did, I understand it. Kind of pissed me off. She's still an honorable mention for a character I don't hate. So far, let me just say it. Ryan, number 1 on my list of not hating.
how could you? How could you hate him?
Yeah.
He's 100% the ultimate victim in this story.
Yep. Number 2,
He's
Kimiko.
literally Homelander.
Oh my God,
30 years ago.
I just got sad
Look
about
at
young Homelander.
if you look at Ryan in that light, if you realize that what's really like at stake here is turning Ryan into Homelander or using Homelander as a lesson to raise Ryan better, because Ryan could just end up as another Homelander. And right now there are some things that will get him there for sure. But
Butcher.
right, exactly, right. But Ryan being at the center of all this right now is like the ultimate victim in this story. So no, I don't blame you for not hating him. I think we should all be on his side right now. We should all be rooting for that kid.
We love you, Ryan. We love you so
Team Ryan. Hashtag Team
effing
Ryan in the
much.
comments.
Hashtag Team Ryan for real.
Hashtag Team Ryan.
Number 2, Kimiko. Amazing. Number 3, Marvin, Mother's Milk. Granted, he did go back into chasing soups, right? But he also went to Monique and talked about it. And he was like, I don't know what I want, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she says, you got to go do it. You got to go. And that is awesome that she did that. Like, because he didn't want to. He didn't want to because he wants to be with the daughter, right?
Right.
And doesn't want to die. But he goes in and he does it because A, he's got the blessing, and B, he's got to, or his OCD is going to kill him. That is a fact. Grace Mallory, surprising addition to this list. If I'm being honest, I kind of hated her all like until this season. This episode
was 100% against her until now.
Yeah, this episode we get a young version of her, along with a young version of Stan Edgar, played by, I want to say his name is Justin Davis. Let me look up my notes. Justin Davis, fucking crushed. He shows up. He shows up, and I go, "Who the fuck is this guy supposed to be?" And then he starts talking. I'm like, "Oh my god, he's supposed to be Stan!" Wow, shout out Justin Davis. The cadence, not just the cadence, but some tones that he says is amazing. Like
the way he would enunciate and kind of pull certain words and kind of the way he would talk. Oh man, yeah, he
absolutely love that. If I'm not mistaken, might be the brother of Black Noir. Hard to tell.
Ooh,
hard to tell. I get that vibe.
That would add a lot to their dynamic.
It tell me it doesn't make it because he says, "I mean, why you got to eat that near me? You know I'm allergic." And it's like not talking to an executive. That's like talking to your brother, is what it felt like.
You're right. There was much
in the
more
same way that A-Train's brother talked shit to him.
Oh, wow. I like that. Okay, yeah. You're right. The banter there was definitely more than just commanding officer and soldier. Or
so
however you want to.
Fingers crossed on that one.
I like that. Okay. All right. So there's like a deeper bond between them. Okay.
There's a deeper bond. I'm sorry. Kill me.
That would definitely explain why Black Noir is consistently so loyal to the operation and never. He's the piece that never strays. Like everyone's a problem except Black Noir. And that's a meme from the first season where you guys all act foolishly and recklessly, except you, Black Noir. You were great. You know, remember that? That was one of the best scenes. If they tied that back to Stan Edgar, like as like a family relation, or even just like growing up together or something, that would be huge. I mean, that comes right back to what we talked about earlier, them retconning stuff and it actually feeling significant. You know, it's not just a lazy way of trying to further progress a story they want to tell now that they didn't think of then. It feels very natural and very earned.
Oh my God.
What?
How long ago was that? That was like 40 years, right? Isn't that what they say?
It wasn't it? It was in the 80s, right?
Was it in the 80s?
It was during
it was during the big 80s Coke running stuff. So that's about 30 years ago.
40.
Okay,
close to 40.
Close to 40. Never mind. I retract what I was going to say. I thought it was a little bit further back. I was about to say Black Noir is like super fucking old, but Soup's aged differently anyway. Anyways, back to this plot.
We see for a while though, dude.
We see Payback in their quote unquote glory days. It's the same.
Wasn't much glory.
It's the same Superboy soldier fuck face. First off,
that was the Illuminati scene from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That was giving us a group of superheroes and then showing us how they failed miserably. That was awful.
How they failed.
I think it was all staged. Sorry, I'm getting into some weird theories right now, but
yeah, please. I was like, okay,
continue.
I also think it's all staged to get Superboy Soldier, what the fuck ever his name is, get him out of there. Super Soldier Boy. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what my head is saying. It's saying Superboy Soldier Boy. You Super Soldier Boy over here. He hits on Grace Mallory and she just shuts him down and he calls her a lesbo. And I'm like, good fucking God, someone kill me.
Yeah.
I may be a nice guy and I may not get anywhere, but I'm not that piece of shit. So, hey, I got something going for me. But she goes on to be the only fucking person who understands how shitty soups are from the very beginning. And she's basically been in the fight since the mid 80s because her whole camp got wiped out. She shouldn't have even lived. She got lucky. She got blown into a little corridor to be saved by 50 cal guns and laser eyes, probably.
Right. She was a lucky survivor from one of the countless incidents caused by these superheroes, because I don't remember his name, but the flying guy that we were so curious about.
Dipshit.
We'll just call him Dipshit. Was flying
because he dead.
He's got these wings that seemed to be his only powers, that he could fly with bug wings.
It's Swatter. I think it's Swatter.
Swatter, which is
stupid,
horrible name. But he flies above the tree lines when they're supposed to be under the cover of the forest. And Mallory tells him, like, dude, get down. You're going to blow our cover. Like, you're going to give our position away. And she goes on to say later, like, sure enough, he went for another joyride and he gave our position away. And that's what caused all of this. Number one, that's what makes me think this was all rigged, just like everything else that we've seen. But also, she had to like witness all of this, and she was completely and utterly helpless in it. So it 100% aligns her with the journey that the boys have been on these last 2 seasons, where now all of a sudden she's earned this rank in this group, where before I thought she was another obstacle for them, where they had to figure out how to work her and how to, you know, get what they wanted out of her, when really she might have one of the biggest hands in this fight. And adding that much depth to her character in one sequence is huge. But like in doing that,
let's not forget the lamplighter situation from season 2.
Oh my!
On top of it all, I
completely forgot about lamplighter.
Right now is when I remembered.
Wow!
Like,
yeah, man, that's insane.
Fuck. She just might have moved up a spot. I'm sorry, MM. You might have just got knocked down a spot on the not hate list. Yeah, and then of course my honorable mention is definitely Supersonic, and then a gap is Starlight. I'm loosening that gap for sure, because I feel bad for her, and I'm just I'm sad. I like Starlight.
Starlight deserves better.
Starlight deserves better. She deserves better friends. Kimiko breaks Huey's arm. Kimiko's amazing.
Kimiko deserves better.
Frenchie
deserves better. They all deserve better.
They all deserve better. You know what they don't? You know what they have? You know what they have that is amazing? I don't think could be better? Writing. God damn. This show is brilliant. We are gonna wrap this up. It's been way too long. Sorry, everybody.
It's just, how can you not spend 2+ hours talking about such a? I mean, we've seen 3 episodes of this season, and I never say this until I've seen the whole season. This is better than the last season. It's already taking us to a place where we're discovering, you know, new paths for these characters and the world building. I cannot get over how consistently efficient the world building is. Every time they introduce a new character, it feels like you should have already known them, you know?
Supersonic.
Yeah, Supersonic is a great one, but Payback, that entire team. We met like 7 new heroes in that sequence, and within 20 minutes, it was like, I was like, okay, yeah, no, these guys have totally been around, you know? And yeah, no, so yes, we've gone a little long tonight. 3 whole hours of content for the boys is going to do that. We're going with 1 episode a week from here on out, so this will not be a regular thing, but the boys, season 3. How much have you enjoyed the kickoff of the 3rd season? Let us know. Leave a review, preferably 5 stars, if you will. And ask us your question about the boys, because Thomas and I are both learning more about this universe. And as we immerse ourselves into it further, I'd love to share that ride with you guys. Any questions you have, any comments you have, any discussions you want to have, let us know. So we can dive even deeper into this universe of the boys.
I wanted to do predictions before we officially ended, but it's late and I don't want to do them anymore. A. B, I think we've already said all of our predictions.
I think so. Yeah. My big one is that the Church of the Collective is going to be a huge player in the background that's going to be revealed probably around like episode like 6 or 7, where we're going to see like, all of a sudden, you know, they were pulling all these strings because the end of season 2 ended with Alistair
Adana.
Yeah. That and how quickly we forget Victoria Newman was the one to kill him because of the information he had and the goal that they were trying to achieve. I have to imagine he wasn't the only one in the Church of the Collective that could access that. So there's still the fight with Victoria Newman. The church will definitely retaliate, or at least respond. And I think we're seeing that both with the being reintegrated, and then also with guys like Supersonic coming up and all of a sudden having a role to play.
Here's a good prediction that just to bring up this bit of information that I don't think we actually said officially. Stan Edgar unofficially adopted Nadia to become Victoria Newman.
Yes,
and raised her. Victoria Newman has a daughter.
That was the information that we found out at the orphanage that we were trying to remember, is that Huey found out Victoria Newman is Nadia, and Nadia was taken in by Stan Edgar. So she has a direct tie to Vought, which is the very company, the very soups that she's claiming to fight so hard against. And turns out she has a direct relation to the guy in charge of it all.
Yeah. It's going to be intriguing to see where we go. I just want her to blow up Homelander's head. That's all I want.
Blow up Homelander's head, yes, please.
Yes. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we're reaching here the end of the show. If you have anything you want to talk to us about, of course, hit us up on our social media. You can find that. Did you hear me slur through that? Mondays.
Social media.
It has been a manic Monday. Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction gets you the link to all of our shows, all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Twitter, we're active, LTA Podcasting. We like to respond to you as often as we can. Where can everyone find you on social media, beautiful JRB?
I am at JRB_direct. Tweet at me, follow me on Instagram. Let's have some more fun talks about the boys. I'm really involved in everything Marvel and stuff with the direct.com. I'll have another article coming out in the next couple of days relating to Miss Marvel. But tweet at me. Follow me on Instagram. Let's talk some more about the boys, because it looks like it's going to be a pretty crazy season. And Thomas and I want to share this experience with as many people as possible.
Ooh, yes, absolutely. That was a great neck pop. You can find all of my links at linktree.com/TCRochesterACT, TCRochesterACT. That's also my Twitter. I'm probably more active on Twitter and Instagram than anywhere. So, hang out with me there. Thomas Carter Rochester, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces over on IG. We've made it. Real quick recommendation for everyone. Be kind to yourself. Don't be an asshole, especially to yourself. Honestly, just don't be an asshole. Just don't be an asshole.
Definitely don't be an asshole, but remember, you are important too.
Yes. So, ladies, gentlemen, beautiful non-binary individuals, we've reached the end of the show. As always, there could be no show without the Iron Man variant. To my left, world-famous journalist John Ross Bradford, bringing in a much-needed eloquence and wit to the show. Thank you to Terry McIver and David Thompson for their work producing, working on social medias, and helping us get ready every week. Thank you to the HWWS WebTV family for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you to our fans that join us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, or listening via Apple Podcast, Good Pods, or Spotify. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Yes, and like I've said many times tonight, please like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave us a review, and give us 5 stars if you feel we are worthy.
Worthy. As always, I'm TCR.
And I am JRB.
Thank you for joining episode 88. Oh my God, the Michael Irvin episode? Let's go, Cowboys! Episode 88 of LTA. It's the off season. All we got is hope. When August hits here, it goes downhill. We'll see you next time. Chicka-chickow.
Peace.